There is a moment that happens in so many neurodivergent kids' lives, a comment, a label, a cruel nickname that they carry quietly without telling anyone for way too long. Today, I want to talk about that moment, what it looks like, what to say when your child finally tells you, and what to do next. This happens at every age. In elementary school, it might look like other kids leaving your child out or whispering about them. In middle school, it might be cruel nicknames or a comment about how they talk or walk or move. In high school, it can sound like being called a slur that is tied to the IEP or their differences, said loud enough to be heard, but quiet enough to just be a joke. Wherever it shows up, it cuts deep. And our kids, they carry it inward quietly, not knowing how to respond or who to tell. So I want to talk to you through what to do when this happens, how to support your child in the moment, how to handle it with the school, and how to start building the kind of resilience that protects them long term. Now, before we talk about what to do, I want to name what this actually looks like because so many parents, they don't realize it's happening until their child finally says something. So, a child comes home, they may come home quieter than usual. A teenager says school was fine in a tone that tells you it really wasn't. A comment slips out almost by accident. Some kids were saying stuff about me at lunch, and then they might go quiet again, like they already regret even bringing it up. Sometimes it is direct, name calling, mocking a stem or a way of speaking, using a label like the one that is attached to their IEP as an insult. Sometimes it is more subtle. They're being excluded from an activity, being talked about within earshot, being made to feel like an outsider without a single word being said directly to them. Now, both versions hurt and both deserve your attention. So now let's move into how to talk to your child in that moment. So when your child finally tells you what happened, and I mean the moment that they tell you, what you say next is really important and it matters. I want you to start with validation and not problem solving. Your instinct is going to be to fix it instantaneously, immediately. I want you to resist that for just a moment. Start with, that sounds really hard. I'm so glad you told me. Let them feel heard before you move into action mode. Don't minimize it and don't catastrophize it. Avoid kids will be kids or just ignore them. That tells your child their pain doesn't really matter. But also avoid reacting with so much alarm that your child feels like they need to manage your emotions on top of their own. Stay calm and steady. That steadiness is what lets them keep talking. Ask before you act. Ask your child, what do they want to happen next? Do they want you to talk to the teacher? Do they want to handle it themselves first? Do they just need you to listen right now? Give them a say in what happens next. That helps them feel like they have a voice in a situation where they probably felt like they had none at all. Talk through how to respond without going below the belt. This is such an important conversation. When kids feel hurt and powerless, the instinct is often to clap back, fight back the same way they were hurt with something cutting and personal. Let your child understand that responding that way It rarely solves anything, and it can actually make things worse. Instead, help them to find a response that holds their dignity without escalating the situation. It can be something simple and firm as, "That's not okay," or, "I'm not engaging with that." Said calmly, firmly, and then they just walk away. It takes away the power of the moment without your child losing themselves in it. Remind them who they are. This is where you briefly plant that seed of confidence, even though we will go much deeper into building that in another video. Remind your child that the words of someone trying to make them feel small does not define them. Their differences are not a flaw that should be mocked. They are a part of who they are, and there is nothing wrong with who they are. As I always say, you know who you are and you know where you're going. And don't let anybody tell you any differently, anything different. Now, how do we address this with the school? So once you've supported your child emotionally, it is time to address it at the school level. And how you do this matters just as much as what you say. Document everything. Write down what your child told you, including the date, what was said, who was involved if known, and where it happened. If there have been previous incidents, write those down too. Documentation matters if this becomes a pattern. So it's important to write everything down as much as you possibly can. Request a meeting. Don't just send an email and hope that something's going to happen. Reach out to your child's teacher, counselor, or case manager and ask for a meeting. Even a short one will do. This shows the school that you are taking it seriously, and it gives you a chance to ask your questions directly and not just in an email. Ask specific questions. What is the school's policies on bullying or harassment? How will this be addressed with the other student or students that are involved? And what support will be put in place for your child moving forward? And will there be a follow-up? If your child has an IEP or 504 plan, connect the dots. Bullying related to a disability can sometimes rise to the level of disability harassment under federal law, which schools should be addressing. If this is happening repeatedly, it is worth asking whether this needs to be documented as part of your child's educational record and addressed through that lens. So look into that as well. Now, I want you to follow up. Don't let one meeting be the end of this. Check back in a week or two. Ask your child if things have improved. If they haven't, then it's time to escalate it respectfully. Request a follow-up meeting, loop in an administrator, principal, or bring in an advocate if you need to. So these are some of the things that you can do at the school level. So I want to be honest with you. One conversation, one meeting, and one moment of validation will not erase what your child experienced. Healing from feeling labeled or excluded takes time, and it's going to take ongoing support. This is also where building real confidence, it becomes so important. Not the kind of confidence that comes from never being hurt, but the kind that comes from knowing exactly who you are, even when someone else tries to define you differently. That is a deeper conversation, and it is one we are going to dive into fully in the next video. So make sure you look out for that. Now, for now, what I want every parent to hear is this. Your child's worth is never up for debate. The way someone treats them says everything about that person and nothing about your child. And the way you respond, calm, validating, present, advocating is what your child hopefully will remember long after the words that hurt them have faded. This happens in elementary school, it happens in middle school, it happens in high school, and it will likely happen more than once across your child's educational journey. But every time it does, you get to show up the same way, steady, present, and absolutely certain of your child's worth. That consistency is what builds trust. And that trust is what your child will carry with them long after they've outgrown whatever moment hurt them today. Now, if this resonated with you, share it with a parent who needs it. And if your child has experienced something like this, drop it in the comments without names, without the details that aren't yours to share, just so other parents know they are not alone in this part of the journey. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share this video with others. The next video we will talk about building lasting confidence in our autistic and neurodivergent children. And as always, I'll see you in the next one.